That time again. Time for another build. Hey guys, Crystal here, and I've got another build to show you guys. Well, technically. This time, instead of watching me just take a tour around a building or destroy a building that I've already made, I'm just gonna build it as is, and you're gonna see the process of it all. Granted, you're gonna see it way speed up, and we'll, come back after the buildy build. But if you're interested to see how I build shit, here we are. Let's get started. So, what you're gonna see here for the first couple of minutes is I build too big all the time. Like, this house is supposed to be very, very small, and I'm starting off building a goddamn mansion. It'll shrink as we go, but I figured I'd add a couple reflecting on my video notes as we do this build. Also, headcanon wise, as far as like reference goes, because I did have a couple houses in mind. This reminds me a lot of a family house that, well, my family has. And so it's like a minor reference to them. And it's also a half a reference to Golden Girls, which I know sounds really dumb, but I was watching Golden Girls a lot while I was writing the first draft of this story. So that's where like the hedge around the fence comes from. It is 100% a Golden Girls slash Real Family reference. Also, I 100% meant to turn my camera off for this part of of the video, just so you could sit and watch the build itself. But I forgot, and I don't know how to take it out in post. So you get to watch me stare at this game for the next, you know, 10 minutes. I 100% use those exact same lights for every single build I do, without fail, because they are just the simplest and brightest that I haven't looked into any other lights that I've gotten since. Let's be real. But I like the lights, so, you know, I use them. I can't change. It's Taurus energy. What can I say? I had this idea for this build where it's kind of like supposed to be old-ish houses from like, the 50s or the 60s or something like that. So it's like I wanted to do that black backsplash just to make it look super super, you know, classic kitchen, reminding myself a lot of my grandmother's kitchen. And then I changed it to all green wallpaper because, whoops, I forgot. Can't remember if I change it. I might. We'll see. Because I'm reacting to my own video like a total noob right now. More headcanon when I was writing the book. The dining room table, which you will probably see in the next few seconds, originally was supposed to be in front of the L-shaped counters. And, like, so if there was a camera, it would be, like, over Elizabeth's shoulder, seeing the disaster of her sister's cooking. But that part didn't make it into this next current draft. There was this whole scene where they're eating pancakes and talking about what they're going to do for the day, and Kyra is trying to convince Elizabeth to let her leave the dishes for later. And it was a really cute scene, but a lot of the feedback was that it was kind of bogging the book down, so it got cut. For the rugs, I wanted to pick something cheap and that didn't look too fancy, but also had some color to it. Because in my headcanon for a lot of this house, none of this is supposed to look fancy, with the exception of, like, Kyra's room, which we'll get to. Even when the Rainsen parents were still alive, they were very cost effective and very frugal, and so a lot of this is supposed to be very classic and just very, like, family generational, like the china hutch that gets handed down by somebody's grandma around down the line, stuff like that. But I was struggling a lot. It's fine. I wanted to give this house, like, a very lived in feel. I wanted to add the pet stuff, like dog beds and stuff, but it's too small and the dog beds are too big. So skipped it. But there is a dog bed in the actual headcanon of this house. And the bedroom was supposed to be a little different in terms of shape, but I think this is working out for what I wanted to do. I would also like to note that I don't know how to make closets, fake closets, anyway, in Sims 4, and I am making this up as I go along and hoping to hell it works. Because there's supposed to be a closet where all the stuff gets hidden, and from book nonsense and stuff like that. I don't want to spoil things too much, so I'm, like, trying to censor myself. But there is a closet, and it has stuff in it. It is the only room with the closet um, in this build, but in the book, all the bedrooms have closets because I live in an apartment that doesn't have closets, and it makes me very upset. And not having a closet should be illegal. Just saying. Welcome to the Rainsen home. There's supposed to be a little garage, I think. I may or may not have remembered to forget it. Or forgot to remember if there's a garage or not. But for right now, there is. And if it's not in the books, then it's not real. But it doesn't really matter. So, come in here, the small living room, where things happen. A little dining room and a kitchen. Kira's room, if you can tell, I mean, it's the most full of all of them, and that's because Elizabeth spends most of her time making Kyra happy, making sure she has everything she could possibly ever want, whereas Elizabeth's room is very Spartan, very necessities only. You have very tiny bathroom. And then you have the parents' room, which has barely been touched. It has been locked down. So there's boxes in the closet. Some of the clothes are still hung up because she'll purge everything, but she doesn't always go into that room. I guess is how I would explain it. Because Elizabeth is very, if it's not needed, is getting sold. But I think it takes her a few years to actually start selling her parents' stuff. So yeah, this is the Rainsen Manor, or the Rainsen house. It's tiny, but kind of biggish. It lives in a weird gray area. But it's a super old house that the parents have had for ages, and then they had the kids. And yeah, this is it. I hope you enjoyed watching this type of video where I actually do the build, even though I sped it up a little bit. I'm kind of experimenting with how I want to do build videos. And even though there's one more left, that you only spend like 20 minutes tops in. But anyway, whoops. Streaming on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This may or may not come out beforehand. I might try to get this video up tomorrow, we'll see. Editing me is throwing up all the important dates. I stream at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Roll at Random, where Instagram and chat decide my fate with whatever game I decide to play. Also streaming on Wednesdays, where I'm doing productivity sprints with the absolutely adorably wonderful Author and Sophie from the channel Author and Sophie. Where we chat, we vibe, we do productivity shit, and we just have a great time. So until next time, I love and appreciate every single one of you, and we will see you guys in the next video, stream, or reel, depending on where you find me next. Bye, guys!